Okay, this is the last practice before the actual test. So, this is the market for the Toyota Prius. So, mustn't forget to title this Prius. Very important. Then, you graph the quantity demanded and the quantity supplied. So, let's see here, 700 quantity demanded. At $10,000, we get 700,000 Priuses demanded. $10,000, 700,000 Priuses demanded. $15,000, 600 Priuses demanded, and so on. And so because these are quantity demanded, together that creates demand 1. Then we have quantity supplied. There's 100,000 Priuses supplied when the price is $10,000. $10,000, 100,000 Priuses supplied. That gives us our supply curve. Now, once we have graphed our supply and our demand curve, the very first step, we need to put our equilibrium quantity, 1, and equilibrium price. This is where the market would be the most stable. Okay, then we write it out in our answer. Write out the equilibrium price and quantity. So, I look over here, my equilibrium price is $25,000. Equilibrium is $25,000. And I look for my equilibrium quantity. That's 400,000 Priuses. Priuses. I could have also looked in the schedule here at the price of 25,000. We see equilibrium. Quantity supplied is equal to quantity demanded. It's another way you could have answered that question. Okay? Next. The scenario says Honda Accord Hybrid competes with the Toyota Prius for hybrid car buyers. Consider the following scenario. The Honda Accord Hybrid decreases its price by 35%. Okay, so we're still talking about the Toyota Prius, but what would happen to the market for Toyota Prius if their competitor drops their prices? Are people going to buy the competitor that's cheaper or the Prius that's more expensive? People are going to buy the competitor, which means that the demand for Prius is going to go down. So we draw our demand curve here. People want the cheaper hybrid. Demand curve. Plot our new equilibrium. Here's the current supply curve. Here's the current demand curve. Equilibrium quantity 2. Equilibrium price 2. Then, what do we write here? We explain what happened. Demand for the Prius would decrease due to a decrease in a substitute. That substitute word's very important. That's your vocabulary word to show you understand this. decrease in a substitute. Make sure you use that word, substitute, or if it's a complementary good, complementary. In this case, it's a substitute. Use that vocabulary. All right, next scenario. Now consider Toyota dealers continue to sell the Prius at $25,000. See, the equilibrium price has actually gone down because of this scenario. But let's imagine that Toyota keeps logging their price at, what does it say? $25,000. Now that's not equilibrium, because this is equilibrium. $25,000 is above equilibrium. So we're going to plot this price. We can't put EP because it's not equilibrium. 1, 2, we're going to do the number 3 price. I'm going to show this price all the way across. All right, now, where this new price hits our current demand curve, here's where the price hits our current demand curve. We're going to take that down. We're going to call that quantity demanded, and we're at number 3. So we're going to call it quantity demanded 3. Again, price where it intersects the demand curve. And we're going to go over here to the supply curve where it intersects the supply curve. This is the current supply curve. So we take this down, and that is quantity supplied. Again, intersecting the supply curve, quantity supplied. We're on the number 3, quantity supplied 3. So what do we call this? Take this down, quantity demanded. People want less than the Toyota is willing to supply. Supply is much higher than people are willing to pay for the Prius. And so what do we have when we have more Priuses than people are willing to buy? We have a surplus. So we've labeled our surplus. Now, would there be a shortage or surplus? Surplus. Final scenario. What would occur if Toyota discovered a new, cheaper technique for building hybrid cars? Okay, so we could either call that, it says technique, maybe that's new technology, or maybe it's an increase in productivity.
I was thinking you.
If it's an increase in productivity, then you would, either one, increase in technology, improvement in technology, or increase in productivity, then we would call that an increase in supply due to an improvement in, you could either say technology or productivity. And then graph that on the curve. Let's see here. A new supply curve for the increase in supply. Well, I'm running out of room here. I'm going to put supply 2 and then plot your new equilibrium. Equilibrium quantity, we're at the number 4, and equilibrium price, ooh, getting crowded over here. Equilibrium price 4.